everybody. Welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. Espresso roast. Anyways, so the thing is, what are we doing today? What is Psycho doing today? Psycho is going to go off and this is a contest response video to one of the more awesome channels. Seriously. Not only that, I like to think of him as a VC friend of mine, that is for sure, Mr. Sam St. John. Sam St. John is doing a 5 for 5 contest. Now I know that the gist of it is this: pick 5 records that you don't think people know you have in your collection, or people are surprised that you have in your collection. Okie dokie. And I've actually dabbled in a couple of his responses to see other people's responses. Now, 1 or 2 of these I might have shown before, way past, but some of these will be a little bit of a surprise to you too. Nothing too crazy, but let's get right into it, shall we? So this one here, I have in a baggie for now because I need to get an LP sleeve, if you will. So this one here, right off the bat, beautiful red colored vinyl, right? So how do I explain this? There is a little bit of scratch. There is a couple scratches actually I see in this thing, but I have to tell you the story about this. So this could be a little long-winded video. I apologize in advance. Sorry, not sorry. So this here is my first one here, and it's basically a Todd studio recording, is what this is called, for the Todd School in Woodstock, Illinois. Now, I'm from Northwest Illinois, and Woodstock, Illinois, I lived there for about a couple of years. I lived almost everywhere in Northwest Illinois, at least McHenry County. Todd School, though, back in the day, if you will, we're talking early 1900s to about the late 1950s, okay? The Todd School for Boys, I don't want to call it like a boys' town, if you will, but it was similar, but one of its more famous people that came through the Todd School for a couple of years, because you lived there, all right, Orson Welles. Orson Welles, yeah, that Orson Welles, the one that War of the Worlds, and legendary actor, director, that guy. He came out of Todd School, along with some other minor people that were famous, if you will. But in the 40s and the 50s, they had not only a radio station, go figure, that's kind of funny, not only did they have a radio station, but they also used to make records of the recordings. Now on here, I've played some of this, and eventually I think I'm going to at least play one side and record it so you guys know what I'm talking about here. This, though, is mostly teenage boy choir, okay, like maybe high school age is what I'm getting at. And just to find this, these are not that easy to find for Todd School. This pretty much is a collectible, at least up in my area, all right? Truthfully, when I found this down here in Northwest Arkansas, I'm sitting here going, wait a damn minute. This should not be here. This stuck out like a sore thumb. And here was the other thing. I didn't find this in a pile of records, although records were in the booth. This was screwed into the wall as a decoration. And as soon as I saw this, I'm going, wait a damn minute. I went off and was able to convince the person to sell this to me for $2, because I just simply said, hey, it does look decorative, does it not? Yeah, I mean, you probably would maybe put this on your wall too, maybe. But this is more of historical possible importance. There is another Todd record. Like I said, this is only the 3rd one I've ever seen, all right? But there's one in the Woodstock Opera House, downtown Woodstock, Illinois, which Groundhog Day filmed that. Yeah, the whole downtown is filmed in the Groundhog Day movie. But in the Opera House, there is a record of the Todd School for Boys, because that used to be one of the performing venues that the school did. And so to find this is very, very unusual. Now I know you're probably thinking, well, what the hell is on here? Well, you've got Richard Kimball Todd, and then Alma Mater, and then the other side is Red Raiders Ride and College Entrance Blues. So, like I said, I'll probably record a side of this eventually so that everybody can get the gist of what this was, because I don't think there is anything on YouTube for Todd. Now, this second one, I've gone off and I showed before, but you know what? You just have to forgive me anyway, because once in a while, I still have to pull out the Care Bear picture disc. The Care Bear picture disc that I ended up getting from my late wife, Jessica Pease. She loved the Care Bears. We even listened to a little bit of this. And you know, the funny part about the Care Bears and a lot of these 80s cartoons, this is from the early 80s, by the way. So Mark Volman and Howard Kalin from the Turtles performed on this. They wrote, performed, sang, they did all this stuff. So, introducing the Care Bears, and then you've got this for your flip side, okay? It's not bad, it's just different. You're not expecting that. And also in the Care Bear movie, not only do Howard and Mark do music for it, but so does John Sebastian. He ended up briefly involved in the Care Bear universe too. Why he didn't stick around? Could it have been they gave him the Care Bear stare? I don't know. You know? Maybe there wasn't enough loving spoonfuls for that, Care Bears. Yeah, I know that was horrible. So, Care Bear picture disc is number 2. Number 3. Number 3 I brought up a long time ago. But you know what? Considering that she passed away in the last 2 weeks, Getz Gilberto. I don't really deal with a lot of jazz. I just don't. Not saying I dislike it, but a record's gotta hit me. Do you get what I'm saying? And this one here actually did. My friend Doug Fields from the Vinyl Grotto radio show got me turned on to Stan Getz. Now, this is not an original, alright? But I have to tell you that this thing is so beautiful. This here, and I'm not going to pull it out completely, that's what she said. It is a Japanese early 80s pressing on Verve. Yes, yes, yes. And even on this side you got the Verve story. I mean, it's beautiful. This whole album, and it sounds so clean. But like I said, Getz Gilberto, if I remember correctly, 1964 for this. Just a very beautiful, beautiful album of jazz, which, like I said, with this album was pretty much my gateway into jazz, in what little I've got. Number 4. So, once again, I stated I'm from Northwest Illinois, alright? So, but even half of the United States will know some of this anyway, okay? So, in the 70s and early 80s, when the radio airwaves were still a lot clearer and there wasn't as much disruption as there is now, okay? WLS, that's right, WLS, AM 89, FM 95, WLS, Chicago. Well, one of my favorite disc jockeys, Larry Lujack, he is a DJ god in Chicago, and Tommy Edwards. They used to do mornings and then the afternoons too at WLS. The good old Uncle Larry and little Tommy's Animal Stories. Now I know you're like, animal stories? Well, here's the front and here's the back. The way the origin of the animal stories started out, these are stories obviously about their goofy animal stories, like, I can't even explain it. Go to YouTube, you'll see some stuff on there. But one day, Larry just happened to be seen, because even though WLS was not a country station anymore, they still kept getting subscriptions to farm magazines. And there was an article in one of those farm magazines that had something similar to animal stories, and so that's how you end up with this. They made about 5 or 6 different ones on vinyl. I've got about 2 of them in my collection, and proceeds from these actually ended up going to charity. I'm not exactly sure what charity it was. Oh, Forgotten Children's Fund for Illinois State Mental Hospital. Seriously, at least this one. So, very amusing stuff on here. Basic paper sleeve. Let's see. Yeah, good old custom label WLS. I miss the old days of WLS in the in the 70s and early 80s. All right, so that gets us to number 5. But you're going to get, because I'm a smart ass, you get 6. You get an extra bonus in a minute. So this is number 5. You know, I still don't know a lot about this. I really don't. I played it. All right. So I know, look at the cover here, right? This is from 1990. Now, the best I can figure out is this is either Polish or Russian metal. Yeah. So Dragon, I don't know if that's the name of the album, or Honda Goga. Honda Goga, okay, it's either way. I ended up getting this, I found this in a handful more. Eventually I'm going to do an episode just straight on these Polish-Russian metals I picked up. I got about 4 of them from the late 80s. This one from 1990. And this one is even autographed by 2 of the band members. I found this in a new box. This is like 10 plus years ago at a Salvation Army here downtown. And not only did I find those, I also ended up with an original Melodia McCartney Russian album. Seriously. So this is pretty cool. The music's actually pretty decent, but either Honda Gorga Dragon or Honda Goga from Dragon. Either way. So, told you this was going to be goofy. Now, bonus number 6. Bonus number 6 because I could. Oh! Here's Johnny from 1974, The Moments from the Tonight Show, signed by Ed McMahon, because I met Ed McMahon in 2007. This is the album that just about crippled Casablanca Records. Neil Bogart's biggest goof up. Seriously. Thinking, well, everybody likes Johnny, we'll put 1 million copies out. From what I'm told, maybe only 50 to 60,000 copies sold. The rest of them came back. All right. Either that or they got severely put into cutout bin status. But yes, this is what it is. It is Best of Tonight Shows. You get a lot of sound bites going from 1962 and the introduction from Groucho Marx about Johnny and his Tonight Show, all the way to about, I think, late 1973. And this thing does come with a poster, but I'm not pulling that damn thing out. On Casablanca Records, that's right. So, I know I went a little long in the tooth today, but I hope that helps. Sam, you got a great channel. You know, like I said, I love being able to do things when I can. And I want you guys to share the BC love. Go off and subscribe and like Sam's channel if you haven't already. And Psycho says, take care of yourself, always powered by coffee each and every time. And we'll see you around the bend, ladies and gentlemen.